COVID-19. Okay, so without data, that kind of discussion, or maybe the kind of decision making that is needed, might not be possible without data. So there lies the significance of data, right? So whatever example you go for, you wanted to know about the culture of any kind of trending culture in the society. So again, you need to have data. You would like to know about the pattern of students opting for various specialization. Again, you need to data to identify, yes, to exemplify, okay, because of this reasons, this is what is the trend. These are the reasons behind the demographic environment, changes in the demographic environment. In companies, they need to have data to reach on to various significant decisions. So without those data, they won't be able to identify what could be the, they could not be, they could not forecast the demand for the next month. So all these kind of examples, you could understand that how data is so significant. So, data is always, yes, Vaneet. Did you raise your hand, Vaneet? Could you please unmute yourself? All right, maybe it was due to some error. Okay, so we were talking about how data has become so significant, and so the data that is collected, that could be done via so many sources. Fine. So it could be done via primary data sources, depending on the need of the study, need of the reasons why the one is collecting data for, and another could be the secondary data sources. Okay. Before we talk about the primary and secondary data, one more thing I would like to specify. Data collection is based on the kind of research a particular organization, an individual is conducting. Okay. So, at times the research would lead to a collection of entire universal data, and at times it would lead to collection of sample data. There are two things: complete enumeration and sample study. Let us quickly understand these two things first, then we shall move further and talk about methods of data collection. So I was mentioning there are two things: one is the sample study and one is the complete enumeration, right? There are certain regions, certain I should say reasons because of which complete enumeration is required. Complete enumeration means we need to collect data from each and every unit of the universe. What do we call the universe? Where that particular field is termed as universe on which research is focused, है ना? हम कंप्लीट एन्यूमरेशन का एग्जांपल ले सकते हैं बेटा, लाइक सेंसस सर्वे, द पॉपुलेशन सर्वे दैट इज कंडक्टेड. Say for example the Aadhaar card formation, which the activity was initiated, and each and every person of the country is required to have their Aadhaar cards. So the kind of extensive exercise had happened. The entire example is related to the entire example is of complete enumeration, because the focus was of in each and every unit of the country, of the nation, is supposed to have the Aadhaar card. So that is what is the census survey, that is the complete enumeration part. For some studies, it is not possible to go for complete enumeration, maybe because of lack of time, maybe because of lack of money. We understand things very well. So then the company or maybe the individual, then it goes for sample data and a sample study. So in that, the sample is collected. No doubt, this sample collection is to be done very fairly. Reason being, it actually this entire sample data, it signifies whatever results are drawn on the basis of sample data. It actually is implemented for the entire universe, for the entire population. So that is the reason data needs to be very, very representative. बहुत सिंपल सा एग्जाम्पल है. वी वुड बी स्टडिंग डिफरेंट मेथड्स ऑफ कलेक्टिंग डेटा इन प्राइमरी केस, है ना. सो बिफोर वी मूव टू दैट, I would like to just tell you why representative data becomes important. Say for example, we are trying to conduct research on different professionals in a particular area of Jaipur city. All right. So in that particular area, say for example, Mansarovar area I have taken up. So now when I would be conducting that kind of study, I need representation from all professions which are residing in that particular area. मैंने केवल डॉक्टर्स से डेटा कलेक्ट कर लिया, मैंने केवल लॉयर्स से डेटा कलेक्ट कर लिया, सो इन दैट केस माय रिजल्ट्स इज गोइंग, इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी, यू नो, एरर्स सैंपल स्टडी में डेफिनेटली होते हैं, but what is tried is to lower down those errors. So if I could collect data from haywire various areas, then it is not going to solve the purpose of the study that is to be conducted. So that is the reason it is always said it is required that your data is supposed to be highly representative. All right. So representative ka matlab hai it should convey that this entire universe comprised of different segments of data and each is represented in the sample which is being taken up. Okay. Now we were talking about the primary and the secondary sources of data which is based on the need of the study that is to be taken up. So when we talk about beta primary sources of data, that means the first hand data on which nobody has still worked upon, and that data is to be collected by different sources, like it could be collected via interviews, it could be collected via questionnaires, it could be collected via any kind of survey and questionnaires is one and the same thing, because when survey is conducted, a kind of question answer session is done, and that is either done through, you know, interviews or maybe through questionnaires or maybe through schedules also. I'll explain you later what we understand by schedules. So one important method of primary data collection, that is the first hand data, we call it as first hand data, is interview, questionnaires, observation. See, observation is a very, very important tool of collecting primary data. So it is interview, questionnaire, observation. So basically what happens, observation may, you know, one needs to be very, very thorough about the different observational techniques which are there, है ना? क्योंकि मान लीजिए एक पर्टिकुलर मॉल में रिटेल आउटलेट है, and I just wanted to identify what kind of, you know, different footfall of people, of customers, they are engaged into which particular cell of the that particular retail outlet, कहाँ पे ज़्यादा फुटफॉल है, या उस पर्टिकुलर एरिया में फुटफॉल में what things do a customer identifies before picking up a particular product. मतलब मैं ऑब्जर्व कर रही हूँ, मैं देख रही हूँ लोगों को, तो मैं आई कुड एनालाइज कि पीपल आर लुकिंग एट द प्राइस फर्स्ट. अगर ब्रांड में बहुत ज्यादा अंतर नहीं है, so they would be looking at, some people are looking at the price, some people are looking at the quality of presentation of wrapping of that particular product, some people are looking at, you know, easy accessibility of that product. मुझे first shelf में मिल गया, सामने सामने दिख गया, I would pick it up. So what pattern does customers follow while picking up a particular product from a particular shelf or particular area of retail outlet? So this is just an example wherein observation technique could have been used. मैं observation पे इसलिए focus कर रही हूँ because interview and questionnaires you're already acquainted with, you understand what happens in one or the other forms, okay? But observation is not that easy to, you know, to adopt as a technique to collect primary data, right? Reasons I have just told you. और observation use करने का एक और reason होता है, see, researcher or the enumerator does not want to bother, say I say does not want to bother the person who is performing the task, और मुझे उससे data लेना है, fine. So what would I do? I'll sit quietly at a distance to that particular person who is working in an industry, in a manufacturing plant, say for example, है ना? तो मैं दूर से उसको observe कर रही हूँ. This is the way the person is handling machine. This is the way the person is, you know, putting items as a source of inputs into that entire setup, है ना? कैसे बीच बीच में जाके कौन से particular setup को regular checkup कर रहा है. Okay, so these kind of minute observations I would jot down and then later on derive certain significant conclusions out of it. All right. So this is one of the methods of collecting primary data. Rest, as I said, questionnaires and schedules. Both of these methods are used to collect primary data. But what is the difference? Both are the kind of methods adopted for survey. But see, questionnaires you distribute to the sample from where you wanted to collect data, and then questionnaires can be distributed via emails. Questionnaires can be distributed via personal meetings. Questionnaires can be distributed on WhatsApp, on Google form drives. It is prepared and then it is circulated. So n number of methods are there, and then enumerator looks at the questionnaire, identifies various answers, and then the further that data can be used for further analysis. Schedules are the forms, again a kind of questionnaire only, but it is to be filled by the enumerator himself or herself. This is the big difference between questionnaire and schedules. Questionnaire respondent खुद fill करता है, schedules are filled by the researcher or enumerator. तो schedules use करने का purpose क्या हो सकता है? Let us give a thought about it. See, you are doing MBA from IGNOU, and then you realize कि अच्छा, this is the setup is entirely, you need to go with English medium, you need to answer your all questions into English because you have opted for that language probably. So अब क्या होता है कि अब आपको एक सर्वे करना है, एक रिसर्च करना है एज अ पार्ट ऑफ योर प्रोजेक्ट वर्क. ठीक है, अब आपको सर्वे करना है, बट देन इट हैज टू बी इन इंग्लिश. But you have planned to do a survey in a rural area. What to do? So what you will do is you will design your questionnaire in English. You will be moving to that place, or maybe the group in which you are conducting that research can move to that place. Then you would be translating those particular English questions into Hindi, or maybe the regional language, whichever language the rural area people are comfortable with. Then they would be providing you the inputs. Again, those inputs are translated and then entered into the schedules. So there lies the utility of schedule. Got my point? नो डाउट इसमें गैप्स आते हैं बेटा, जैसे मैं बोलूंगा आप वैसे लिखो, ऐसा बिल्कुल जरूरी नहीं है. सो व्हाट आई स्पीक एंड यू अंडरस्टैंड इन द सेम मैनर इज बिट डिफिकल्ट एट टाइम्स. ओके, because in my understanding and your understanding, it might be gap at times. So that there lies the weakness of this particular tool, but still it is used for collecting data in such cases. है ना? आपको बहुत हरी है बेटा, you need to collect data in a very short span of time, and questionnaires when you send, you need to put up repeated reminders, then you would get your data available with you. ऑल राइट, वरना लोगों के पास समय ही नहीं होता कि आपका इतना बड़ा क्वेश्चनेयर को फिल करके आपको रिटर्न करे. बट देन देयर इज वे आउट. People do different things, okay, and then follow up becomes very very compulsory. So then now what happens? Okay, I was talking about कि बहुत हरी है हमें, and we cannot wait, or maybe we cannot wait for the repeated reminders as well. Then what would I do? I'll call up the people randomly which are part of my sample. I'll ask the questions that is there in the schedule, fill up the data instantly the way the person is answering, and then it is done. Okay, so again this is the way that is adopted to just run when we are running against time, and there is no option left out, then we have to go for this methodology. All right, I hope you could understand these methods. Interviews, we understand. Focus group interviews are there. One-to-one interviews are conducted. There is a panel which might conduct interview regarding, to know about various data on which this particular individual, with whom that particular connection is made or interview is conducted, this individual have been through the entire cycle of the event for which the data is to be collected. All right, that the individual has been part of that event जिसके लिए आपको data collection करना है. So got my point? In this way interviews are conducted. Interviews भी बहुत planned methodology होता है, because you need to design up various questions. You need to make the interview environment in a manner that people open up to you. Otherwise, if people will not give you data, you will not reach to the conclusions for which you are actually collecting data. I hope you're getting my point. So, bringing something out of the people could be done by making the environment very soothing, very pleasing for the interviewee. Interviewer to already comfortable hai because they have to ask questions, but things are difficult with interviewee, right? So these are the different methods of primary data collection. Whereas secondary data हम उसी को बोलते हैं with the data which is already, it is stored, it is safe somewhere, and that could be again reused for one or the other purpose, है ना? बहुत सारा ऐसा डेटा होता है, जैसे एम्प्लॉयमेंट एक्सचेंज में डेटा ऑफ पीपल वर्किंग इन अ पर्टिकुलर कंपनी उनका वेबसाइट पे अवेलेबल होता है ना. यू कुड सी, you could reach to the ISIN website. You can just look at the various faculty people who are working in the organization in different specialization areas, in different specialization domains. So it becomes so easy that secondary data has compiled up everything. मुझे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में अपने एम्प्लॉयज के स्किल सेट्स टेस्ट करने हैं. आई हैव जस्ट फ्लोट थ्रू अ गूगल फॉर्म. आई हैव आस्क्ड व्हाट डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ स्किल सेट्स इट इज ऑलरेडी, मतलब it is already existing with them, what new do they think about the organization, and then so on. So this way it is all about the secondary data that might exist, क्योंकि skill sets तो तभी HR head ने तभी invite कर लिए थे when one has decided to join the particular institution. All right, तो तभी skill sets या weakness areas या areas that need improvement, everything was already designed earlier. Fine. So these are the various secondary data sources. Secondary data sources could be the research papers, could be the PhD thesis, it could be the company journals, it could be the institutional in-house journals, it could be n number of places that you think about, and the database is available in front of us. Okay, so this is all about data collection. When data is collected, it is actually in the raw form. See, raw form का मतलब क्या हुआ? It cannot directly be used. It has to be presented in a proper form. It has to be, then the analysis could be conducted of that data. I hope you could understand my point, है ना? Means whatever data we collect, that is to be presented in a suitable format so that at a glance people can think about various decisions out of it. All right, it could be anything, but data presentation becomes very very significant. Okay, खाली डेटा कलेक्ट करके ले आए, बहुत अच्छे से भी आपने कलेक्ट कर लिया, लेकिन अगर हम ढंग से प्रेजेंट नहीं करेंगे तो फिर उसका यूटिलिटी नहीं है. So see, every step has its own significance, right? So I was talking about कि once data is there, it could be broadly, if we try to understand, it is presented in three forms, beta. One is, the first form, it is known as individual data, then discrete data, and then continuous data. What do we mean by that? That let us understand. Individual data, जैसे आप, for example, बहुत simple है example इसका. In your class, say for example, right now I can see 39 people. So let's say 35 are there in your class. Okay. So when your first semester is over, you have appeared for the examination, you have submitted all your assignments, everything is done. You would get your result. Everyone, all 35 students will get your result. Roll number dash is first. So say, for example, Fazal Sheikh is first. I have written his first name. Roll number, whatever is the other roll number, say roll number 33 is Sonam Kumari. So Sonam Kumari has stood second. Got my thing? So all 35 people will have their data separately in the form of TR, total result के form में. It would be there, it is placed on the notice board. People get to rush to see their results on the notice board. In many colleges, this culture is still followed. You got my point? So this is what it is about. Did you understand, beta?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Please keep responding so that even I could also guess कि yes, it is
Yes.
two-way things that is going up. Thank you, all of you. Fine. So I was talking about data is presented in three forms. हमने अभी डिस्कस किया बेटा इंडिविजुअल डेटा, जहां हमने बोला इंडिविजुअल यूनिट के रिजल्ट्स इंडिविजुअली दिए जा रहे हैं. फाइन, वो चाहे 35 है, वो चाहे 350 है, वो चाहे 3500 है, but as I told you again, beta, it is based on the it is definitely based on the kind of study, kind of research a person is conducting, जिसके लिए उसको ये data collect करना है, right? Individual data collect करना है, तो किस तरीके का data है? Definitely it is dependent on that need. All right. Second is the discrete series. Second kind of data presented is in the form of discrete series. Beta, if you remember in junior classes, you must have heard about frequency. है ना? Frequency is this data, when data is collected, it is presented in the form of frequency. Frequency is basically repetition of a particular value. है ना? Frequency का मतलब repetition होता है ना? Say marks of a class we are writing. People are getting different marks and we are writing marks on a piece of on say I'm just preparing a table for marks of students in a particular subject. So what could be seen is, say marks are out of 50. There are 3 students who secured 35 marks. Right, I would quickly share a whiteboard with you and would like to show you something. Just give me a moment. Because you know, this subject theoretically will not make you understand all the aspects. Just waiting for. Let me know whether you are able to see the whiteboard or not. Once it will come on your screen. थोड़ा सा टाइम लगता है ट्रांजिशन में. Is it available on your screen?
Now it's working. Now it is.
No, ma'am.
It is still not rigid. See, Arpit
No.
can see. So probably at your end there must be some kind of technical slowdown or something like that. Please check at your end.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. So quickly we can see, say in first example, wherein we are talking about individual series, see 2, 3, 10, 11, 14, 4, 6 and something like that. Okay. So here X represents ranks of students in a class. जो मैं example ले रही हूँ. 6, 7. 7 students का मैंने roll number 1 to 7 का ranks दे दिया. Roll number 1 stood second in the class. Roll number 2 stood third. Roll number 3 stood 10th and so on. So every individual is known about their position in the class in terms of their IQ. You got my point? सबका अपन ने locate कर रखा है. So in terms of their IQ, it is very clear to them. All right, this is what is my level of understanding in the class, or maybe my level of presenting things in the class. I stand at 10th place. I stand at 14th place, whatever it is. But then this is what it is about. तो ये हुआ बेटा individual data. Discrete data में what happens? हम लोग बात कर रहे थे marks और frequency की. So let us talk about this. है ना? Marks means out of 50, 38 marks were secured by, frequency का मतलब है repetition, were secured by 5 students. So can you see, there are 5 students who actually secured 38 marks out of 50. फिर next हमने माना 42 हैं. There are 7 people who scored 42 marks. Okay, got my point? Frequency, repetition, 42, 42, 42, 42, 7 times. So repetition हो गया ना? All right, so that is what is seek. ये तरीका होता है बेटा discrete series में अपने data को present करने का. This entire series is termed as discrete series. If you have any doubt, please mention. Otherwise, we shall move on continuous series.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Continuous series में we present data in the form of intervals, है ना? इंटरवल्स का मतलब हुआ बेटा जैसे ऐसे हमने दे दिया से एक लोकेलिटी में it is to be identified in a particular locality how many people of different age groups are there. ठीक है, ये चेक कर रहे हैं. Maybe they wanted to start with a certain policy and they need to check how many people of different age groups are there. So accordingly that policy can be launched. So how do they go about it? So 0 to 5 becomes the first cycle range, 5 to 10. Just a second. Then sorry, when I use mouse to write this now, it really works slow. Okay, so these are the class intervals of different age groups of people. I'm not writing further. Say उनको 20 years तक के age groups बनाने थे. These are the 4 age groups they have made, and accordingly they will decide about the games and say community party which is going to happen recently. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे हमने ये जो दे दिया है, this is marks basically. मार्क्स ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स, मैं इसको m से रिप्रेजेंट कर देता हूँ. नाउ फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ स्टूडेंट, दस फैमिलीज अगर उस कम्युनिटी में हैं तो 0 to 5 एज ग्रुप में 8 पीपल आते हैं. 8 पीपल. फ्रीक्वेंसी 0 to 5 age group is repeated 8 times amongst the people. Age group of people in this interval, 8 people are there of this particular age group, so it is repeated 8 times, है ना? That is the reason we have written in the form of frequency. Next 5 to 10 data में it is about 20 I'm sorry, it is about 20 people who are lying in that particular age group, 5 to 10, है ना? Kiddos ही हैं BBA. So 10 to 15 में if I say 12 people are there, okay, which are lying, again these are also kiddos, but then we are talking about some elderly people after 12 as well. So 10 to 15 में there are 12 people who lie in this particular age group. Again, if I write, say for example 7 over here, so this is what is the current scenario that we have taken up only till 15 to 20 years of age group. Okay, so this is the example of continuous data wherein class intervals are made probably of regular classes. Generally, students we go for regular classes. अगर नहीं है तो we would try to make it regular so that you can exactly calculate whichever measure is required for further analysis of the kind of data that is presented. All right. Say now one more thing. When we have these kind of class groups 0 to 5, 5 to 10, you can see every class group's upper range value is equal to lower range value. Can you see this clearly? Is it clearly visible? 0 to 5 में upper class limit is 5, lower class limit is 0. 5 to 10 में lower class limit is 5, upper class limit is 10. So what we want to say is कि अगर हमें age group से related club करना है चीजें, it can be easily done because already we have taken up regular class intervals. Okay, so how it could be done? Like say regular class interval, सब में आप देख रहे हो ना class interval difference कितना है बेटा? 5 है. You got my point? 0 to 5 में भी 5 का gap है, 5 to 10 में भी 5 का gap है, 10 to 15 and so on. So gap of 5 is a consistent gap that is there. So definitely अब आप क्या करते हो जब आपको 0 to 5, 5 to 10 इस तरह के class intervals में दिया हुआ होता है बेटा, उसका मतलब है when it is given in this form that means ये regular classes हैं and class size is 5 and we call such type of class intervals as exclusive class interval. I would explain you why do we call it exclusive. क्या कहलाता है बेटा, आप प्लीज लिख लीजिए. एक्सक्लूसिव, एक्सक्लूसिव इंक्लूसिव वर्ड्स तो अपन बहुत ज्यादा सुनते रहते हैं. सो एक्सक्लूसिव क्लास इंटरवल्स आप मुझसे पहले लिख भी लोगे because I am not able to write properly with this mouse. All right. Okay. Exclusive class intervals, exclusive series का मतलब क्या है students? Say 0 to 5 is a class group. So in that class group, I will not be counting kids of age group 5. I'm not at all counting. 5 वाला एज ग्रुप कहाँ चला जाएगा? नेक्स्ट इंटरवल में 5 to 10 में. Did you got my point? Did you understood this point? Exclusive किसे कहा गया है बेटा?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
ओके. एक्सक्लूसिव मतलब हमने एक्सक्लूड कर दिया. किसको एक्सक्लूड कर दिया?
Upper class.
अपर क्लास को. एब्सोल्युटली. 5 अपर क्लास जहां पर है वहां इंक्लूड नहीं करेंगे, जबकि 5 कहाँ इंक्लूड होगा?
The following lower class. जब आएगा.
नहीं, 5
Next.
will be included in the next class. Yes, absolutely right. Okay. Similarly, बेटा next होता है inclusive class series. Let us understand about it. Inclusive का मतलब देखते हैं. I'm just clearing this frame. I would write it again over here itself. Either it is hanged or something like that because it is asking. Yes. Can you see the clear sheet now at your end? Is it visible?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Vida. Just let me admit this first. All right. So let us talk about inclusive class series. Vida, आपने definitely must have heard about these kind of classes wherein 8 to 11 is one class. Say 11 to 2, right? Is next class. And let me do one thing because otherwise it will again become (11 to) I must go for 13, 13, 14 to 16, and so on. Okay. So here, as you can see, beta, the upper limit is not at all equal to lower limit of next class. Similarly, second class में upper limit is not equal to lower limit of next class. Can you see? Can you identify this thing, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So in that case, your class size will be of, what is the class size over here? इसका class size क्या होगा बेटा? Yes, what is it? 3. Absolutely. Remember this thing because 8 is also included, 9 is also included, and 10 is also included. जब आप last example में 5 to 10, 10 to 15 ये सब classes कर रहे थे, तो यहाँ पे भी class interval 5 था. जबकि आप 5 से 10 count करोगे तो there are 6 units. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 6 units. You are getting my point? तो 5 यूनिट्स है. इसका मतलब क्यों 5 है? क्योंकि अपर लिमिट इंक्लूडेड नहीं था यहाँ पे. तो दैट इज द मेजर डिफरेंस बिटवीन दीज टू. गॉट द पॉइंट? इंक्लूसिव में all the upper and lower limit will be included as part of the data, and here in another case where the series is regular continuous hai, no I mean upper limit will not be included in calculation of class size. All right. So ये inclusive कहलाएगी at 8 to 10, 11 to 13 और 14 to 16 वाली, और 5 to 10, 10 to 15 ये exclusive series कहलाएगी. Students, please remember this thing. All right. Next we shall talk about, so we were discussing about presentation of data. All 3 presentations we have done: individual, discrete, and continuous series. Next we shall be talking about measures of central tendency, है ना? सी आपने डेटा कलेक्ट कर लिया, आपने डेटा बहुत अच्छे से प्रेजेंट डेटा कलेक्ट करके फाइलिंग भी कर लिया, डॉक्यूमेंट कर लिया, एंड देन यू नाउ नीड टू प्रेजेंट इट इन दी in the form of a thesis or maybe in the form of जैसे अब आप रिसर्च करोगे आपके सेकेंड ईयर में. So that has become a very very important component because you will be learning about hell lot of things over there, है ना. So वहाँ पे focused group, okay. So what I mean to say is that कि central tendency में we apply different methods like mean, mode, median to make our sample to make individual value a representative value, right? जैसे अभी हम लोग क्लास की बात कर रहे थे बेटा, there is a class of 35 students and say we are recording scores of a particular subject of this class. तो 35 students के marks मेरे पास में हैं, right? And similarly there is another class which is again comprising of 40 students and I have marks of particular paper of all 40 students. Quickly हमको check करना है out of these two class which class has greater intelligence quotient. We need to check about that. All right, how do we go about this? Then we have to imply measures of central tendency. So central tendency basically एक वो value होती है which represents the entire data, right? So one value we identify, mainly central tendency के measures तीन अपन study करते हैं बेटा. Always remember 3 are the most important methods that we study: mean, mode, median, right? There are other methods too, पर मेन आर दी मीन, मोड, मीडियन. मीन का मतलब क्या होता है? सिंपल एवरेज. अभी जैसे हमने बोला आपने दो क्लास ग्रुप्स के मार्क्स को कंपेयर करके बताना है भाई कौन से क्लास का इंटेलिजेंस ज्यादा हाई है, तो हमने एवरेज स्कोर दोनों क्लास के निकाल दिए. एक क्लास का लेट्स से एवरेज स्कोर 78 आया एंड अनदर क्लास हैज गॉट एवरेज स्कोर एज 82. So obviously which is a better class amongst the two? The class that has got the average of 82 marks, isn't it? All right. So these are the various measures of central tendency that helps us to calculate a representative value which can be used for entire universe as well. तो सबसे पहले आपने देखा mean. Mean is always represented by this symbol x bar. I would quickly clear the frame as well so that I can write other things also here. Mean as you can see is written by x bar और mean का simple formula होता है बेटा, in case of individual series it is x bar is equal to summation x upon n. This is the formula for calculating mean in case of central tendency, है ना. So mean is one of the measures of central tendency, summation x upon n. x की values को sum up किया, total number of observations से divide कर दिया, you would get the average value. All right. Next is ये केस होता है बेटा जब सीरीज आपकी इंडिविजुअल है. ऑब्वियसली तब आप फ्रीक्वेंसी का रोल ही नहीं है, तो यहाँ पे अपने को फॉर्मूले में भी वी कैन नॉट सी फ्रीक्वेंसी एट ऑल ओवर हियर. So we need to simply sum up the total variable value and then divide by number of terms. We will get mean, average. Okay, simple average. Now we will quickly take up another example wherein we have frequency, यानी discrete or continuous में. Remember students, mean will have different calculations, different performa. I'll just help you out. See, x bar is equal to, जहां आपने summation x लिखा था, now we shall write summation fx over n. In case of discrete series, we will be going for this formula, summation fx upon n. Beta, remember very clearly, in case of discrete, yeah, I should do one thing here. I should also write continuous series. क्योंकि दोनों में यूज होता है फॉर्मूला. ऑल राइट. ठीक है. Here, what I was trying to say is always remember students, n is equal to summation f. This is to be understood very, very clearly. M is equal to summation f. ठीक है बेटा. समेशन एफ एक्स डिवाइडेड बाय टोटल नंबर ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशंस, तो वो फ्रीक्वेंसी से मिलेंगे अपने को. पर क्योंकि रिपीटेशन था, हमने उसे कंपाइल करके एक साथ लिख दिया है. बट डजंट मैटर्स, आपके नंबर ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशंस थोड़े ना कम हो जाते हैं. सो दैट इज द रीजन we'll be totaling the frequency values and then calculating x bar out of it. ये तो हुआ individual, discrete और continuous series में. Let us talk about another central tendency measure, that is median. Median value. Okay. Median value आपको पता है कब काम में लेते हैं? Say, median को represent करते हैं capital M से. All right. This is median. अब मीडियन की कैलकुलेशन कैसे होती है? अगेन फर्स्ट वी विल लर्न अबाउट इंडिविजुअल सीरीज, देन वी विल फोकस ऑन डिस्क्रीट एंड कंटिन्यूअस सीरीज, है ना. मीडियन में जैसे हमें एक सीरीज दे दिया, फाइन. व्हाट यू आर सपोज, मीडियन सेंट्रल वैल्यू होता है मेनली, या इसको दूसरा नाम कहते हैं बेटा पोजिशनल एवरेज. एवरेज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ पोजिशन इट ऑक्यूपाइज इन द डेटा, है ना. सो व्हाट हैपेंस, तो पोजिशनल एवरेज है. दैट मीन्स हमारा मीडियन वाला डेटा एक क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर में होना बहुत जरूरी है. यू गॉट माय पॉइंट. एक सिग्निफिकेंट सिस्टमैटिक ऑर्डर बिकम्स इक्वली एसेंशियल सो दैट appropriate median can be identified of the given data. जैसे एक क्विकली एक एग्जांपल देखते हैं अपन. वैल्यूज आर गिवन एज 6, all right. I have written this data as a kind of sample for you people. 5 लोगों का डेटा है and this is what is the thing. ठीक है. It is regarding anything that you talk about. तो ये चीज है. मुझे इस डेटा का मीडियन वैल्यू निकालनी है. How should I go about this? सबसे फर्स्ट मुझे क्या करना पड़ेगा? I need to what?
Sort the data.
Yes, sort the data in terms of in a particular order, either in increasing or in decreasing order. So let's say हम इसे increasing order में change कर देते हैं. So when you convert this data into increasing order, what will it become? 4, फोर 6 7 10 and 12. Is the order done? जो हमने सोचा था वो order आ गया. It is in the form of increasing order of data. Now, you calculate median if the number of terms in median, right? If number of terms is odd. So in that case, you will apply this formula. Median. एक मिनट. When I erase at my end and when it appears on your screen, it takes really time. So let us say median in case when the data size is or in odd numbers. Odd numbers ही है ना ये. 5 है data size, तो n plus n plus 1 over 2th term becomes your median. यानी 5 terms थे ना, n plus 1 upon 2th term ही formula बेटा. This is the standard formula. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 over 2 is third, nth term, the third term. What is the third term in the data that is presented in
7.
10.
third term? 10 कैसे हो सकता है बेटा प्रियंका? It is 4, 6 and 7.
7.
All right. So third term is 7. 7 becomes our median in this case. Please students remember, बहुत बारी students एक mistake कर देते हैं after calculating n plus 1 upon 2. जो भी आंसर आया ना 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, whatever is the answer. This answer, matlab 3 cannot be taken as the final answer. Most students they keep on doing this mistake, beta. That is the reason I'm reminding you of it. Third तो केवल value आई है. Answer would be median is 7. Remember this thing. Median is equal to 7.
Madam, in case the series is odd,
Pardon? Asim, you were saying something. I could not hear it clearly. Please tell me once again.
in case the series is odd,
If the series is odd, Asim, when the series is odd, then n plus 1 upon 2th will work. अभी odd का example अपन ने किया. I am coming to the even series now, है ना? तो even series की अगर अपन बात करते हैं, मान लीजिए 6 मैं ऑर्डर में लिख देती हूँ 7, 9, 14, 18 and 6. I cannot take 6. Let's say make it 20. ये given है, ठीक है? This is a data series. You can check first step. Always go for arrangement. It is already arranged. Second step, we will apply formula of median. That is n plus 1 upon 2th item. But we will not write like this. Just give me a moment. I'll show you different form. N by 2th item whole divided by 2. This is what we do usually. जब आप इवन नंबर्स में, अब लेमन में बात करते हैं, जब आप इवन नंबर्स में मिडिल वैल्यू निकाल रहे होते तो आप क्या करोगे? मुझे साफ दिख रहा है सीरीज में, मैं 9 और 14 को ऐड करूं और डिवाइड बाय 2 कर दूं तो सीरीज की मिडिल वैल्यू आ जाएगी. दैट कैन बी टर्म्ड एज मीडियन, राइट? यहाँ पे भी यही मतलब है. 6 by 2 माने थर्ड टर्म. व्हाट इज योर थर्ड टर्म? 9 plus 6 by 2 plus 1 यानी 3 plus 1 fourth term. What is your fourth term? Fourth term is 14. So 9 plus 14 over 2 becomes your final answer of this series having median as कितना आ जाएगा? This is 23 by 2. So somewhere around 11.5. यही आएगा ना? 23 out of 2 is 11 upon 5. Do you agree or not?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So जब आपने ऊपर n by 2th टर्म किया, हमने 6 by 2 किया था, थर्ड आया आंसर, तो थर्ड टर्म लिखा, दैट इज 9. फिर उसके बाद n by 2 plus 1th टर्म किया था, दैट टाइम it was again 6 by 2 plus 1, that is 3 plus 1, fourth term, and fourth term is 14. We have written it like this. Now last में 11.5 मत ढूंढिएगा, that is your final result, है ना? 23 over 2 makes 11.5, that is the final result. All right, so this is done in case of even series. बस आपको middle two terms का average निकाल देना है, और odd data series में you have to just arrange and then calculate just by n plus 1 upon 2 formula. So it is done with median, with discrete series also is done. Now let us do median with continuous series. तो कंटिन्यूअस सीरीज में पहले स्टेप सुनते हैं, बाय द टाइम में फ्रेम भी क्लियर हो जाएगा. कंटिन्यूअस सीरीज में फर्स्ट वी विल आइडेंटिफाई आई मीन विच इज द मीडियन क्लास, है ना. कंटिन्यूअस सीरीज तो आपको क्लास के फॉर्म में दिया हुआ है. लेट्स से 5 to 10, 10 to 15, okay, this is 15. I hope इसमें कोई confusion नहीं है. This is also 15. ये थोड़ा सा ऐसे बन गया है ना. 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25. और यहाँ पे I should write the values. Okay. So this is I have given the frequency. अच्छा, अभी अपने को डिस्क्रीट भी करना है. क्विकली वी शैल डू कंटिन्यूअस फर्स्ट, देन आई विल टेल यू अबाउट डिस्क्रीट एज वेल, है ना. सो इंडिविजुअल वी हैव डन, बोथ ऑड इवन. कंटिन्यूअस सीरीज में एज आई टोल्ड यू, फर्स्ट वी शैल बी आइडेंटिफाइंग मीडियन क्लास एंड देन वी विल अप्लाई फॉर्मूला. तो यहाँ क्या करते हैं अपन, क्विकली देखते हैं अपन. सबसे फर्स्ट स्टेप इज अरेंजमेंट, इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ एनीथिंग. बेटा आप मीडियन किसी भी सीरीज में कैलकुलेट करें, फर्स्ट स्टेप would remain defaulted, that is data arrangement. Series has to be arranged in a proper chronological order. वो हमने किया. फ्रीक्वेंसी से कोई लेना देना नहीं है, फ्रीक्वेंसी को अरेंज मत कर दीजिएगा, ठीक है. एक पर्टिकुलर क्लास को आपने अरेंज किया, उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी उस क्लास के अकॉर्डिंग ही मूव करेगी. You got my point? I hope you could understand. All right. So what would happen? First step, arrangement. Second step, calculate cumulative frequency, CF. You can write the full form of CF, cumulative frequency, CUMULATIVE, cumulative frequency. So cumulative frequency में आप क्या करते हो? You keep on adding, compile करते जाते हैं बेटा further series of data में. So 6 plus 3 is 9, 9 plus 5. Keep telling me 14, then
19.
19.
all right, it is 19. Now what do we do? First step arrangement, second step calculation of CF, third step में we would be calculating small m, और small m का value होती है n by 2th item. Remember, all right, n by 2th item. तो small m value हमारी कितनी आ गई? n कितना आया? समेशन f कितना है? समेशन f बता दीजिए. अभी तो हमने क्यूमुलेटिव फ्रीक्वेंसी में लास्ट रो में लिखा, दैट इज 19. So 19 upon 2 is what?
9.9.
Absolutely, it is 9.5. Could you get my point? आप जब solve करोगे, you will get 9.5. This is your small m. अभी इसे लिख के रख लेते हैं. अब कहाँ काम मिलेंगे बेटा? जो आपने क्यूमुलेटिव फ्रीक्वेंसी कैलकुलेट करी है ना, ये थोड़ा सा टिपिकल है, बस आप इस एक बार समझ जाओगे. कीप डूइंग द क्वेश्चंस लाइक एनीथिंग. जो आपने क्यूमुलेटिव फ्रीक्वेंसी कैलकुलेट करी है, यू हैव टू लुक फॉर द हायर वैल्यू और वैल्यू दैट इज इक्वल टू 9.5. वो वाला क्लास विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज मीडियन क्लास. आई वुड रिपीट अगेन, लाइक इन दिस एग्जाम्पल m 9.5 आ गया. what is the higher value or equal to value of 9.5 in your cumulative frequency data value? Is it 14?
Yes.
All right. Yes, absolutely. That is 14. 9 से बड़ा हो गया 9.5. अब 14 वाली series में आएगा. So your this class is considered as all right, because 9.5 जो हमारा small m value आया है, that is greater than or equal to होना चाहिए when you look this value into the CF column. Now, this is what is the formula for calculating median. Beta, after writing this formula, you please keep noting down what does particular letter signifies, so that accordingly L1 sorry नीचे शायद आपको समझ में तो आ जाएगा M-C. Please note down. L1 stands for formula hai, I would first repeat. Median is calculated by using L1 plus I by F M minus C. L1 stands for lower limit of median class. You may please jot it down. Lower limit of median class done. I हम हमेशा represent करते हैं class intervals. Class interval is represented by small I. Then we have F, frequency of median class. Then we have small m. Small m आपने जो calculate किया है n by 2th item से, that is small m. And C is the cumulative frequency of pre-median class. Jot it very carefully. C is cumulative frequency of pre-median class. I would again repeat. Okay. Now, let us substitute all the values equal to what is L1? Lower limit of median class.
5 to 10.
Median class अपन ने तो ये की identify करी है बेटा. This is our median class.
15.
Okay. So L1 is 15. Plus, what is class interval या class size?
5.
5.
All right, 5. Frequency. F implies frequency of median class. That is 5 again. Can you see? है ना बेटा? Next is M.
Yes.
आप अभी calculate किया. Small m is 9.5. Then what did I told you? What is C? Cumulative frequency of pre-median class.
14.
Pre-median beta. Median से pre
Nine.
पहले वाली class.
9.
It is 9. Absolutely right. Now could you quickly calculate median? This is all about median in 3 series. I hope अपना answer आएगा बेटा. It would be 0.5, 15.5. 15.5 beta.
5. Yeah,
है ना?
sorry, ma'am.
Yes. No. Don't be sorry. It is just we all are human beings. Errors can be made by anyone. So L1 plus I by F M minus C. You have to do it very carefully and just identify the median class, and then you can take up all the values and put it over here. L1 plus I by F M minus C. Okay? Okay, beta. Thank you.
Yes.
Students. Continue in the next.
Ma'am, one doubt, ma'am.
Yes.
How the N became, capital N became 19?
Capital M. It is not
Yes.
19. We said M is equal. Beta, please mute yourself. My voice is getting equal. Yes. This will become C. 15. And this is Sorry, last part of the board stops.
No, ma'am, it's not last part. It's the top one. Small m equal to n by 2 of the.
Two-th term, two-th term.
Okay, that n value, how it became 19.
Acha, how n is 19? All right.
Yes.
See, n is the total of frequency. Always remember. N is the total of frequency. You can also write it over here like this. N becomes summation f upon 2th term. Summation f का मतलब f has to be summed up. This is what is small m value. Summation f over 2.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. So when you will sum up your frequency value, you will see that the value is 90. Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. See you in the next class, students.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
All right.
Thank
Hello?
you, ma'am.